Breaking news tonight, we have just found out that President Nixon has resigned. Facing certain impeachment by Congress, he has decided instead to step down. Local reporters caught sight of the president leaving the White House. His only comment was, "I have committed no crime." Let us recap the events of the past couple years that have led to this resignation. 2 years ago, on June 17th, we received news that 5 men had been arrested while trying to plant bugs in the Democratic National Committee at the Watergate Hotel and Office Complex. As investigation continued, it was found out that a $25,000 cashier's check from the Nixon campaign had been deposited in one of the Watergate burglars' accounts. This started the FBI's investigation into Nixon's ties with the massive political spying and sabotage being done in efforts to re-elect Nixon, although at first, the president was not in question. On January 20th, 1973, former Nixon aides G. Gordon Liddy and James W. McCord Jr. are convicted for the Watergate incident under conspiracy, burglary, and wiretapping charges, and 5 additional men also plead guilty. A few months later, some of Nixon's closest associates in the White House staff resigned: H.R. Haldeman, John Ehrlichman, and Attorney General Richard Kleindienst. On May 18th, the world watched as the televised hearings of the Watergate case played out. And then the bomb drops, as Alexander Butterfield, former presidential appointments secretary, reveals under oath that Nixon has a private recording system for all conversations and telephone calls in his office, and the fight for the alleged tapes begins. October 20th, 1973 became known as the Saturday Night Massacre as Nixon, under the threat of impeachment by Congress, fires Archibald Cox and abolishes the office of the special prosecutor. Attorney General Richardson and Deputy Attorney General William D. Ruckelshaus resigned instead of taking orders against their conscience. On November 7th, the iconic term, "I am not a crook," is coined as Nixon continues to defend his innocence. Even after the Supreme Court ruled that Nixon had to turn over the tapes earlier this year, Nixon claimed presidential privilege and therefore was charged with obstruction of justice, one of the first 3 articles needed for impeachment. We will be back to you with more information.